Hello everyone, welcome to my channel Bold and Beautiful today.
The shocking results of Liam and Luna's surgery show who survives and who does not. Bridget Forrester, Grace Buckingham, and Lee Finnegan have some difficult responsibilities at the hospital, while Liam Spencer and Luna Nozawa have some surgery shockers coming up. First of all, since Sheila Sharp, Liam, and Luna have all been shot, there will be further mayhem at the beach home. For a moment, Steffy Forrester will fear that Liam is already dead, but John Finnegan will detect a weak pulse and stop the bleeding with a towel. Still, there will be a lot of blood on the floor for the entire action. BNB will draw attention to the horror of this terrible circumstance and close up on all the crimson that is leaking everywhere. Steffy will lash out at Liam after Sheila considers him a decent man and commends him for his bravery, claiming that Sheila's granddaughter attempted to kill him. Naturally, Steffy won't be considering the fact that Luna is both Finn's child and Sheila's grandchild at this time. Sheila, on the other hand, will look at injured Luna and be horrified by how far she's gone. Sheila will question Luna about what she did, but Luna will be unconscious and certainly won't be able to hear her. All three sufferers will be sent to the hospital for prompt medical attention as soon as the paramedics arrive. Sheila was simply shot in the foot, so her damage isn't very severe. Deacon Sharp should be pleased that Sheila is okay, even though it appears that Luna will cause her to lose another toe. Since Liam and Luna will both end up fighting for their lives, the same cannot be true for them. On Wednesday's episode, Bridget, Lee, and Grace will all be a member of important operations teams. Regretfully, there will be some scary moments in the ordeal to problems. Liam will survive the treatment, but he will ultimately be in a coma. Luna appears to be about to die while undergoing surgery. Since it has been confirmed that Luna will continue to air in September 2025, some deceit should occur. If Lee is responsible for Luna's staged death and keeps everyone else, including Finn, in the dark, we won't be shocked. In addition, Carter Walton will make a sincere commitment to Hope Logan about becoming a stepfather soon. Carter will be prepared to take on additional fatherly responsibilities after Liam's death, even though he will want Liam to remain Beth Spencer's father for as long as possible. Thankfully, Liam will survive this gunshot emergency and will probably soon receive a revision that reverses his tumor diagnosis. Grace has been acting strangely lately, so all the indicators point to that. We'll keep you updated as soon as her falsehoods are exposed. Hope begs Liam, who is unconscious, in Lee's stunning secret, Luna's major twist. Lee Finnegan might have a breathtaking secret that connects to a significant development for Luna Nozawa. Here's what viewers may anticipate. I hope Logan will also ask Liam Spencer, who is comatose, to survive. Although everything seems that Luna is dying in the operation room, reality isn't usually what soap operas portray. After Sheila Sharp shot John Finnegan in the alley, he appeared to be dead, but Lee surreptitiously kept him somewhere to heal. Given that a leaked screenplay indicates Luna will still be appearing on the show in September, BNB may be preparing a similar scenario with her. It appears that Lee and Luna will have more scenes together in the future, which may indicate that she is keeping Luna's survival a secret from Finn and the others. Finn will need to cope with the death of his biological daughter in the interim. Finn will lament the relationship they never had and consider what may have been, since he should presume Luna is gone forever. For depriving him of so much time with Luna and failing to provide her with the stability she required, Finn might lash out at Poppy Nozawa. Given that Lee has been holding Poppy responsible for Luna's horrific change, Finn may conclude that he is also holding Poppy responsible and react accordingly. Bill Spencer, on the other hand, will battle feelings of remorse at Liam's almost deadly experience. Will Spencer lose his temper with his father or choose to be kind instead? Let's hoping that Bill and Will can eventually work together for Liam's benefit, because they could use each other's support right now. Since Hope isn't prepared for losing Liam, she has naturally already been concerned about it. Hope will plead with Liam to return to his loved ones and fight for as long as possible when she sits at his bedside while he is unconscious following surgery. Given what's happening with Grace Buckingham, Liam might have a lot more time than he believes. It appears that Liam's tumor might not be the actual thing, or at the very least, it might not be as bad as he had been told. In any event, Liam is still on the show and will continue to be involved in the action, as he recently taped sequences that will air in September. Liam's new mystery, Grace obsession, and patient death. Spencer, Liam. Let's discuss the upcoming events in the CBS soap opera as you continue reading. Buckingham's obsession with Grace. First, let's talk about Grace Buckingham, who has been caring for Liam's brain tumor. Grace has been very insistent lately that Liam accept a new treatment. Although treatment might prolong his life, there are numerous risks involved, including the potential for bed rest. Liam doesn't want to spend the rest of his life that way. He hasn't responded to Grace as of yet. However, Grace's stress level is quite questionable. Fans then observed Grace's continued attempts to work on Liam rather than Sheila Carter Sharp. The legislation was established by John Finnegan. But Grace kept inquiring about Liam while she operated on Sheila. Thus, it is evident that she was not fully focused on Sheila's surgery. Death by surgery. Liam, Sheila, and Luna Nozawa were the three patients that had surgery. It is mentioned, meanwhile, that one character would not survive surgery. Fans watched as Sheila's procedure was declared a success. However, Sheila still has the potential to be the death. According to a script leak, Luna and Liam are still alive in September. So, might it be a phony death? The new mysteries of Liam Spencer. According to spoilers for tomorrow's episode of The Bold and the Beautiful, Liam will come to a tough realization. I wonder whether Grace's fixation with the treatment stemmed from the fact that the man is perfectly healthy. Is Liam being used as a test subject by Grace, and if so, why? Grace doesn't appear to be a bad person. Perhaps those annoying texts and phone calls are a hint. Who is the villain if Grace is coerced into doing this? Hope Logan and Carter Walton's arrival at the hospital is also expected to be seen by fans. Hope or Carter could get in touch with Bill Spencer after receiving updates. Sheila Sharp, the perennial architect of chaos, clutching her bleeding foot, Liam Spencer, Steffy's ex-husband and devoted father, frighteningly still and pale, and young Luna Nozawa, Finn's newly discovered daughter and Sheila's unexpected granddaughter, unconscious and gravely wounded. The air hangs thick with the metallic tang of blood and the suffocating weight of shock, a grotesque tableau where the sins of the past have erupted with devastating violence in the present. This isn't just a shooting, it's the detonation point for a series of surgical shockers poised to rip through Los Angeles, leaving shattered lives and agonizing questions about who survives and who is lost forever in the sterile, high-stakes battleground of the operating room. Steffy Forrester, arriving in the horrific aftermath, her world collapsing anew, stumbles towards Liam, her initial terror crystallizing into a chilling certainty: he's gone. A desperate, guttural cry escapes her as she collapses beside him, her fingers trembling against his unnervingly cold skin. But John Finnegan, the doctor forever entwined with this fractured family, pushes past his own shock and horror. With practiced urgency, his fingers find Liam's neck, searching, and then, a miracle, the faintest, most fragile flutter against his fingertips. It's barely there, a whisper of life clinging on by a thread. Acting swiftly, Finn grabs a nearby rag, pressing it hard against the source of the alarming blood pooling beneath Liam, a desperate, makeshift dam against the tide threatening to sweep his rival, yet the father of his stepchildren, into oblivion. The scene is a visceral bloodbath, the camera lingering not on the elegance of the beach house but on the horrifying reality of the red ooze spreading across the floor, a stark, unflinching highlight of the sheer brutality Sheila's latest spiral has unleashed. In a moment of twisted lucidity amidst her own pain, Sheila's gaze lands on Liam, a flicker of something resembling admiration or perhaps just stunned disbelief crossing her face. He was brave, she rasps, her voice weak but carrying an unsettling sincerity, a good man. Steffy, kneeling beside Liam, her hands stained with his blood, whips her head around, her eyes blazing with fury and grief. A good man your granddaughter tried to kill, she spits, the accusation sharp and venomous, laying the blame for this entire catastrophe squarely at Sheila's feet and, by extension, Luna's. The irony hangs heavy and unspoken. Luna is just as much Finn's child as she is Sheila's blood, a fact Steffy, consumed by terror for Liam and hatred for Sheila, cannot, or will not, acknowledge in this heart-stopping moment. Sheila's attention, drawn by Steffy's vitriol, shifts to the unconscious form of Luna nearby. A profound wave of anguish and dawning horror washes over her face as she truly comprehends the depth of her own destructive path. Her gaze locks onto her granddaughter, wounded, perhaps fatally, by her own gun, by the chaos she embodies. "Luna, what have I done?" Sheila whispers, a raw confession lost on the unhearing ears of the girl whose life hangs in the balance, a tragic question echoing in the silence broken only by Steffy's choked sobs and Finn's urgent commands. The piercing wail of approaching sirens finally cuts through the suffocating dread, heralding the arrival of paramedics who swarmed the scene with practiced efficiency. In a blur of controlled chaos, all three victims are stabilized, loaded, and rushed towards the one place offering a sliver of hope, Los Angeles Memorial Hospital. Initial assessments offer a grim triage: Sheila's injury, a gunshot wound to the foot, while agonizing and destined to cost her yet another toe, a grim echo of her past, is deemed non-life-threatening. Deacon Sharp, wherever he is, will likely breathe a sigh of profound, weary relief upon hearing she's physically okay, even as the psychological and legal repercussions loom large. The same cannot be said for Liam and Luna. Both are plunged into a desperate, high-stakes fight for their very lives, their conditions critical and deteriorating as they speed towards emergency surgery. The sterile, high-tension environment of the hospital becomes the next brutal arena. Wednesday's episode promises excruciating suspense as three skilled, emotionally invested surgeons take the lead: Bridget Forrester, steady and experienced; Lee Finnegan, fiercely protective and harboring her own secrets; and Grace Buckingham, whose recent behavior hints at a dangerous instability simmering beneath her professional facade. They assemble their teams, the air crackling with urgency and the unspoken weight of the lives on their tables. For Liam, the surgery is a grueling marathon against catastrophic blood loss and internal damage. Bridget and her team work with laser focus, battling to repair ravaged tissue and vessels. Yet, despite their skill and determination, unforeseen complications arise: perhaps a nicked artery they missed initially, a sudden drop in blood pressure, or damage more extensive than scans revealed. The monitors scream warnings, forcing tense, rapid-fire decisions. The battle is brutal, pushing medical expertise to its limits. Miraculously, they pull Liam back from the brink. He survives the invasive, life-saving procedure. But survival comes at a devastating cost. Liam doesn't wake. He remains trapped in a profound coma, a state of terrifying limbo where the vibrant, often conflicted man is reduced to stillness, leaving Steffy, Hope, and his children facing an agonizing vigil, unsure if the man they love will ever truly return to them. Across the surgical suite, Luna's situation is even more dire. Her youth offers no shield against the severity of her injury. Lee Finnegan, operating with a mother's desperate ferocity masked by clinical precision, fights tooth and nail for her daughter's life. Grace Buckingham, involved in Luna's procedure, adds a layer of unsettling unpredictability. The surgery descends into a frantic, high-wire act. The delicate dance of repairing vital organs falters. Monitors flatline. Despite heroic efforts, despite Lee's near-superhuman focus, the pronouncement is made: Luna Nozawa dies on the operating table. The shockwave is immediate and profound: Finn, shattered, confronting the loss of the daughter he just found; Poppy, inconsolable; Sheila, facing the unbearable consequence of her actions; and even Steffy, despite her anger, likely feeling a pang of horrified sorrow for the young life extinguished. But in the treacherous world of the bold and the beautiful, death is rarely so absolute, especially with Lee Finnegan involved in confirmation that Luna will still be gracing screens months later, in September 2025. The narrative screams deception. The most compelling theory? Lee, faced with the imminent loss of her child, makes a split-second, morally ambiguous decision. Perhaps Luna did technically code, perhaps she was moments from death, and Lee, leveraging her medical knowledge and connections, orchestrates a cover-up. She manipulates the situation, declaring death prematurely or facilitating Luna's covert removal to a private facility for specialized, off-the-books treatment, leaving everyone else, Finn included, perhaps especially Finn, to protect him or control the narrative, believing Luna is gone. This fake death could be a desperate bid to save Luna from immediate threats: Sheila's enemies, her own legal troubles, or a way for Lee to maintain absolute control over her daughter's recovery and future, a chillingly pragmatic betrayal wrapped in maternal devotion. Meanwhile, the ripples of the shooting extend beyond the OR. Carter Walton, ever the steadfast presence, finds Hope Logan reeling from the double blow of Liam's critical condition and Luna's reported demise. In a moment of profound, if perhaps premature, solemnity, Carter makes a heartfelt vow. He speaks of Liam being Beth's father for as long as possible, his respect for their bond evident. But with Liam comatose and his prognosis uncertain, Carter steps forward, pledging to embrace the role of stepfather fully, promising Hope he will shoulder extra fatherly duties for Beth if the worst should happen, a testament to his love for Hope and his commitment to her child, yet a vow shadowed by the precariousness of Liam's existence. Fortunately for Liam and Carter's immediate stepdad duties, the winds of soap opera fate seem to be blowing towards survival. Not only does he emerge alive from surgery, but the ominous cloud of his recent brain tumor diagnosis also appears destined to dissipate. Grace Buckingham's increasingly erratic and secretive behavior, the furtive glances, the hushed phone calls, the unexplained absences, point squarely towards deception. The prevailing theory gaining traction is that Grace falsified Liam's medical records, perhaps fabricating the tumor diagnosis entirely. Her motives remain murky. Was it misguided manipulation to push Liam towards Hope? A cruel scheme born of her own instability? Or something even darker? Regardless, as Liam fights his way back from the brink of death caused by a bullet, the even more insidious threat of the tumor seems poised to be surgically removed from the narrative itself via the exposure of Grace's lies, offering Liam a potential second lease on life free from that particular sword of Damocles, once the truth inevitably explodes. Thus, the surgery shockers leave a landscape forever altered, Liam clinging to life in a silent coma, his future uncertain, Luna officially declared dead, but her survival a probable secret guarded by a desperately, setting the stage for a jaw-dropping return, Sheila physically scarred but alive to face the music, her grandchild seemingly lost because of her. Finn grieving a daughter he barely knew while wrestling with his complex ties to Sheila, Steffy and Hope bound by shared trauma and fear. For Liam, Carter preparing for an expanded role, and Grace sitting atop a powder keg of lies about Liam's health, ready to detonate. The operating rooms at Los Angeles Memorial witness not just the struggle for biological survival, but the brutal incision of fates, the suture of secrets, and the transplant of devastating new realities into the hearts of everyone involved. Who truly lives? Liam breathes, but is he alive? Luna is dead, but is she gone? The answers lie shrouded in deception, coma, and the inevitable unraveling of Grace's dangerous deceit, ensuring the aftershocks of this bloody beach house confrontation will reverberate long after the last scalpel is set down. Dr. Grace Buckingham. At the heart of this maelstrom lies Liam Spencer, a man grappling with a devastating brain tumor diagnosis and a profound decision about his own mortality, unwittingly becoming the focal point of Grace's increasingly unprofessional and suspicious fixation. Grace, entrusted with Liam's care, has morphed from compassionate healer into a relentless advocate for an aggressive, experimental treatment, a treatment promising extended life but at the horrific potential cost of permanent bedridden incapacity. Her persistence transcends medical advice, it borders on coercion, a desperate hammering against Liam's resolute stance that such a diminished existence is not living at all. This pressure, applied while Liam wrestles with unimaginable personal stakes, is jarring. It becomes profoundly alarming when contrasted with her concurrent responsibility, performing life-saving surgery on the notorious Sheila Carter Sharp. The dissonance is stark. While John Finnegan explicitly laid down the law regarding focus and protocol, Grace's mind, and crucially, her attention, demonstrably fractured. Midway through the intricate, high-risk procedure on Sheila, a patient whose survival holds immense emotional and narrative weight, Grace wasn't fully immersed in the delicate dance of saving a life on her table. Instead, she repeatedly sought updates on Liam, her primary concern palpably diverted from the patient under her knife to the one down the hall awaiting his own fate. This breach of surgical sanctity, this dangerous diversion of focus during a critical operation, transforms Grace's earlier pushiness into something far more sinister, raising terrifying questions about her judgment, her priorities, and the true nature of her investment in Liam Spencer. Simultaneously, the hospital became a crucible for 3 lives hanging in the balance, Liam undergoing a crucial procedure related to his tumor assessment or preparation, Sheila fighting for survival after her latest brush with death, and Luna Nozawa facing her own undisclosed surgical emergency. CBS's chilling teaser, that one character would not emerge alive from surgery, cast a long, grim shadow over all 3 outcomes. The initial relief that washed over viewers when Sheila's surgery was declared a success was immediately tempered by the ominous caveat that complications could still claim her, leaving the identity of the deceased shrouded in agonizing uncertainty. Was it Luna, whose presence adds youthful vulnerability to the stakes? Was it Liam, succumbing to the tumor, or a surgical complication, validating Grace's frantic push for the experimental treatment in a tragic, twisted way? Or was it Sheila, finally meeting her end after countless resurrections, her success a fleeting mirage? Leaked scripts further thickened the plot, suggesting both Liam and Luna are present in storylines extending into September, seemingly ruling them out as the surgical fatality. This points a heavy finger towards Sheila, yet in the volatile world of soaps, success can be misleading, and death is rarely absolute. Could Sheila's demise be a carefully orchestrated ruse, a final escape hatch facilitated by her uncanny ability to cheat death? Or does the leak intentionally misdirect, implying Liam or Luna survived the immediate surgery only to face devastating long-term consequences or even a different kind of demise later? The ambiguity surrounding the death is masterfully maintained, ensuring every monitor beep, every grim doctor's expression, is laden with dread. It is precisely within this fog of surgical outcomes that Liam Spencer's storyline takes a sharp, intriguing turn towards mystery. The difficult realization teased for Liam transcends the immediate trauma of surgery or grief. It beckons towards a paradigm-shattering possibility whispered by fans and fueled by Grace's irrational behavior. What if there's nothing wrong with Liam at all? Grace's obsession, her near-hysterical insistence on him undergoing a radical, life-altering treatment he explicitly rejects, now appears less like medical zealotry and more like something deeply unnatural. Could Liam's brain tumor be a fabrication? Is Grace, a respected surgeon, using Liam as an unwitting test subject in a dangerous, unauthorized medical experiment?